What exactly is a reverse diet? Should men and women train differently? What equipment should you buy if you're just starting out? All these questions answered and more on today's podcast, so stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time finding our podcast, my name is Jonathan. This is my wife, Blakely. We own and operate Digital Barbell. We're an online training and nutrition coaching company, helping people all over the place get strong, lose weight, get fit, all that kind of good stuff without wasting time on stuff that doesn't matter or getting bored to tears or hurt in the process. We're currently living, working, and traveling full-time in our Airstream. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's why we're not in a gym or a recording studio filming this episode. We've got an awesome Q&A episode for you today. I'm not sure what these microphones are picking up, but our RV park that we're staying at right now is right across the street from an airport. So if you hear of a jet taking off or
small,
landing,
it's like
little regional airport.
Personal plane airport.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't bring our personal plane with us, but we're considering it in the future.
No.
Actually, one of my clients is a pilot who flies, private jets.
Yeah.
And I sent him the airport that's across the street, and he was able to say, all right, that's a little bit too small for the type of jet that I fly. We could land there if we had to, but
it looks
anyway.
Very small.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a Q&A episode, but we also have a podcast sponsor today. We're sponsored by something that a lot of people care a lot about, pickleball. We have, we know about pickleball. A lot of our clients play pickleball.
I don't know anything about pickleball until yesterday.
Well, we've heard of it. We didn't really know a whole lot about it other than it's super popular and everybody who does it apparently loves it. Well, the RV park that we're staying at has some really nice pickleball courts, and we saw on the calendar that they were doing lessons yesterday. So we signed up for a lesson. We got our first pickleball lesson, and Blakely's already looking on Amazon for buying our own, what are they called, rackets or paddles? I don't know what they're called. But we're going to be all geared out and have sweatbands on and all that, wristbands in the near future.
It was just so much fun. I think it was fun because it's beautiful right now where we are in Texas. We got some sun, we got some exercise outdoors, we got some vitamin D, and the guy who was the instructor was just so nice. And
we learned a lot.
We did learn a lot. We learned from the history of pickleball all the way through how to score and play. And we ended up playing a match with him after the class was over with another girl.
I thought that it was hilarious how he walked us through the entire history of pickleball.
Oh, it was so cute. Yeah.
Apparently it's going to be in the Olympics in 2030.
Maybe.
If the Pickleball Association has its way. They're trying hard.
It's not easy. I think people think it's it's the easier tennis, but I don't think it's easy.
Yeah.
You're closer, so the ball is you have to react faster.
Yeah, you're standing 14 feet apart basically.
And maybe the court is smaller, but the reaction time is fast.
Yeah.
I feel yeah.
So we're going to get our rackets.
Yeah.
I'm not. The place we're staying next might have pickleball courts too.
This place has free. You can just go rent the rackets for free or pick them up and use them. So we'll be playing again while we're here. Yeah,
if you like pickleball, let us know your thoughts. If you have any opinions on what we should buy for equipment, leave a comment or send us a message or email. Also,
I already found the starter ones. The ones they had there were looked like retro ones. I was I love these. And then I found them on Amazon. They're $30 for two, plus a carrying case, plus 4 balls. That's the ones I want because I love, they're striped with retro.
We're buying based on
I don't
looks.
Care if they're the easy beginner ones.
They're cute.
They're so
Why did you pick this particular racket, man? Because it's cute. All right, let's get into these cues so people can have some A's.
All right. So first question. This is a great one. Should men and women train differently when it comes to strength training?
You got an opinion on this?
I say when I first heard this question, I was no, they don't need to train differently, but they can.
Mm-hmm. Meaning there can be some variation based on some goals that might be different between men and women in general?
Yeah, like I do not, like when I owned a CrossFit gym, I didn't like be like, okay, men do this workout, women
Yeah.
do this workout. Today, when I write my programming for our clients, I don't say like, okay, men do this workout, women do this workout. So no, I don't think that like in general, men and women need to train differently. But I do think like they can if they have like specific, like when we did a physique program, I did do like I gave men extra like chest exercises and I gave women extra glute exercises because I think that's like just where like some preferences might lie
Right.
between men and women. So yes, that's
Yeah, I mean, basically, like we all need the same stuff for building full body strength and for building muscle and just to have the capacity and the energy that we want for
Yeah.
everyday life. We all need that kind of stuff. And then like a layer below that, we can start to get more specific. And this is one of the beauty of like having a customized program for somebody is we know like, all right, this person is really wanting to work on their glutes and their calves. We can devote more of our strength training time, sets, movements
Yeah.
to exercises that target those muscles more. It's
Yeah.
that's really all it comes down to.
And I think also thinks about how much do you train? If you train 3 times a week, no, you don't. You guys don't
Right.
need really a different program. If you're training 5 to 6 times a week, that's where we can start to like have some preferences come in because in the for the base of the program we all need the same thing. And then as it gets down to like okay, I've on my 5th and 6th day here, then we can start to get
Right.
some preferences in of like okay, I really want to target this.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think like a big myth to bust with this whole topic too is that like women should be using light weights and doing
Yeah.
a bunch of reps and men should be lifting heavy barbells and doing less reps. Like
Yeah.
that's a complete misconception. And if that's your idea of what women should be doing versus men, then I would love to educate you and challenge you on why you think that in the first place, especially if your goal is to improve your body composition.
Yeah, and I think like if you are a woman and you don't strength train or you go to a gym and you stay on like the machine side of the gym and maybe it could be because you don't have a plan and you don't really know what to do over there on the other side of the gym, and that's where like having a coach like us comes in so you can like have the plan and
Yeah.
know exactly what to do. Now that we're on the road, we went to a gym, and it is interesting, like you go into the free weight side and it is mostly men
Yeah.
over there, but I think women need to get over there. They just need to have the right plan.
Yeah.
And if you can go with the right plan. I'm not trying to go down a sales pitch here, but with the right plan, you can go into that room with confidence,
Yeah.
knowing what weight you need to grab and what you need to be doing,
Yeah.
rather than just like looking around and be like, I don't know what to do in here.
Totally.
All right. How often do you recommend switching out accessory exercises?
I guess just like basic definitions here. Accessory exercises are the things that you do in addition to your big chunk of like strength training. So if your big chunk of strength training is a compound exercises like squats, presses, and deadlifts, accessory exercises are like your incline dumbbell bench or your
Yeah.
tricep press downs or your Arnold presses. It's like the icing on the cake. So in our programming, we switch them out every 8 to 12 weeks as a whole. But the way that you write our program it really is that we kind of alternate them every other week for the most part.
Yeah.
There's some staples that remain throughout a training cycle, but you'll write kind of like an A week and a B week where a lot of those accessory exercises will switch out.
Yeah, so you could go through a 12-week program using, like, say for triceps, you could use the same 2 tricep exercises and do like one A week exercise, one B week exercise. Like A week is overhead tricep extensions, and B week is kickbacks or LTEs, and you could vary those, and that will give you enough variation to like keep you from getting bored, but still targeting those muscles. Another thing I like to do is like within a 12-week cycle is like go like month 1 is overhead extension, so you're building weight there. Month 2 is LTEs, so we're working on the triceps there. Month 3 is some like a
Like a
kickback,
push
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're hitting like the same muscle, but you're hitting it in different angles.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a huge part of why we use accessory exercises in the first place is to hit the muscles from
Yeah.
different angles, because changing the position of the elbow in a curl changes which head of the bicep you're hitting. Changing the position of the shoulder in a tricep exercise change which head of the tricep that you're hitting. So
Yeah.
if you're never changing them out and you're only doing the exact same one or ones over and over and over again, you're leaving some progress on the table for developing overall, muscle tone and and definition across the entire arm, especially. And then like alternating them from week to week or month to month, or I mean, after a training block is smart also because it can help prevent overuse, especially when it comes to arm stuff, because tennis elbow and golfer's elbow are largely just a function of overdoing it in one particular movement pattern or increasing the weight or difficulty too quickly. So some amount of variety helps prevent from those overuse injuries too.
Yep. All right. Number 3, I feel like I'm eating all the time to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Are there any tips? So they're trying to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of their body weight
per day.
And they feel like they're trying to eat all the time in order to achieve this.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And Are
there any tips?
Unfortunately, I don't know what this person's body weight is to know how many grams of protein they're trying to eat. But my question would be back to them is, why are you trying to eat 1 gram of protein per pound? Like, why do you have that as a goal? It's not necessary for most people's goals. Increasing protein to that high is more useful in a fat loss phase because it'll help you stay fuller. As this person has noticed, like eating a lot of protein can be pretty filling, and you just have to do more chewing because most protein comes like in the form of a meat that has to be chewed and digested. But pushing like 1 gram or 1.1 or 1.2 grams per pound isn't necessary for most people's physique goals unless they're training their butt off and they already are really muscular and pretty lean to start with. So I would probably advise this person, if I knew more of the specifics, to start with a lower protein goal, something like 0.7 or 0.8 grams of protein per pound per day. See how that feels. See if that feels like less of a chore.
Yeah.
And actually look at the thing that we're trying to improve anyway. Are you still losing weight if that's your goal? Is your performance still increasing? Is your body composition still improving? If it is, then you don't need to be eating 1 gram per pound. If less will do the trick.
Right.
But let's just say like you know what your goal should be and you're still struggling because you feel like you're constantly eating protein. Try to choose protein sources that are more protein dense than just calorie dense, or that have any calories coming from fat also.
Yeah.
Focus on lean protein sources.
Like a chicken breast versus a chicken thigh. With a chicken thigh, you're going to get less protein, more fat. With a chicken breast, you're going to get all protein.
Yeah, it's going to be like the same amount of food you have to eat, but you're getting less protein for it. So you really are going to have to eat more food. Or if you're buying, 2%, 4%, 5% Greek yogurt, switch over to 0%. Or if you're at 4%, go to 2%. Same thing with cottage cheese and milk. Go with the leanest sources of protein you can so you get more grams of protein per calorie, and then you really won't have to eat so much food.
Yeah.
And then rely on liquid protein sources also. You probably won't feel really full just drinking a protein shake made with water that gets you 25 grams of protein versus like sitting there trying to eat through enough chicken to get 25 grams of protein. There's tons of pre-made sources of protein shakes out there in liquid form. Any gas station or grocery store, Core Power, Fairlife, whatever. If you're more budget conscious, make them yourself. Buy a 5-pound bag of whey protein and make it with water if you're trying to keep the total volume down.
And another tip I was thinking of is like what I like to do is like in reverse. If I want to lose weight, I take a little bit off of each portion. If you want to add protein, add a little bit each meal. That way you don't feel like you're eating it all the time.
That's true.
Like just add 1.5 times the amount of protein you normally take at each serving or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can just get it in that meal.
That's a great tip too. All right, I hope that helps.
All right. Do you have any go-to travel workouts that you can share?
What a timely question.
Yes. I wrote down 3 real quick because
right.
These are like my 3 favorites. My first and foremost favorite is like if you just have bands and you just need to move a little bit, like, your arms or something, I call it arm farm. We came up with this a long time ago.
Over
when
5
we were
years ago.
Traveling, and it's 5 rounds of bent over rows, lateral raises, curls, and tricep extensions. I can drop the specifics in the notes of the podcast. And you do
all done with a band.
5 rounds of that. So 20 bent over rows, 10 lateral raises, 20 curls, 10 band tricep extensions, and then rest. Woo! Those things will smoke your arms. I love that workout for a band. It's
called
good.
Arm Farm because it's going to make your arms grow, at least temporarily.
Yes. Another one is if you have a hip circle. If you're ever traveling, if you just have a band and a hip circle, outside of like doing some like, walking, running and all those things, it's great. Is some banded, this one is 3 sets of 30 banded side steps, 20 banded glute bridges, and then 10 banded air squats, all with the hip circle around your legs. And when you put on that hip circle, put it on right above the knee. Don't let it be over the knee because that'll hurt, but right above the knee, you'll get the most tension because your legs will be able to move the widest at that point. If you got it up too high, you won't feel any tension.
And when you do all these different band exercises, get down into a partial squat when you do these side steps. In the air squat, obviously in the air squat, you're going to get into a squat. But I see too many times people doing side steps with a band around their knee. Their legs are completely straight and they're just standing up straight. All you're doing is working the outside muscles of your hip at that point, and not really your glutes. You got to squat down a little.
Yeah, in any of these bands, you want to be able to keep tension. That's the secret to these. So if you're doing the side steps, keep your feet hip width apart and move them out, and then move them back to hip width. Don't ever stand close together. You take all the tension away.
Yeah, good point.
And then the last one is for some abs. Is 3 to 5 rounds of do 30 seconds of sit-ups and then 10 push-ups and then rest. And you can repeat that 3 to 5 times.
I like that.
So those are pretty easy ones you can just take with you in your suitcase band.
If you don't know what a hip circle is, we'll put a link to what it is in the description below. It's an elastic band, not the rubber kind. We don't really recommend that
it's like a fabric.
Yeah, it's like a nice, comfortable elastic.
If you ever used a rubber hip circle and you're like, oh, I don't use hip circles because they will dig into you. But these fabric ones are bigger, 2 times the size of a belt.
Yeah.
And then they don't squeeze your legs to death.
Yeah.
All right.
Numero
Where
5.
are we? I'd like to lose about 10 pounds before summer. How long of a fat loss phase should I plan for? This is a very timely question too. It's March.
We're like mid-March right now.
March, yeah.
I had to look up to answer this question, when does summer begin? And Google says that mid-June is the beginning of summer.
I think most people think of probably school schedule is when does summer begin? Summer begins when school's out.
When is that?
I would say at the very beginning of June. End of May, very beginning of June.
Okay. Well, that makes things a little bit more challenging even. Okay, so before we get into the math of backing into how
you went for the actual literal they're
yeah,
when does the calendar
on this day,
say
I need to be down 10 pounds.
I think most people would say summer is when they're out in their bathing suits.
Okay, fine enough. Well, we're going to get into the specifics of this, but my first question is why do you think you need to lose 10 pounds? Where did that number come from? So
probably because you want to be out in your bathing suit.
But that is because that's a physique goal. That's something you see in the mirror, not when you look down at the scale. So your goal is I want to be leaner and confident in my bathing suit, regardless of what the number is. Says. So don't just measure your weight loss as to whether you are successful in this goal that you have.
Good one.
Measure how you look in your bathing suit if that's your goal. Okay, so let's just go with it though that you want to lose 10 pounds. So I think this is important for people to wrap their head around, because I think because of how many extreme diets are out there and crazy promises there are, people have a completely skewed perception.
I don't need to start until May 15th.
I need to lose 10 pounds by tomorrow. What should I do? Okay, so when you start dialing in your nutrition, you're cutting out junk food, you're drinking less alcohol, you're having less processed food, you're going to have more rapid progress during the beginning of your, quote, diet, not just because you're eating fewer calories. It's because you're depleting a lot of water weight in the beginning. And I'm not poo-pooing on that fact. I'm just making you aware that you're going to make rapid progress in the beginning, and then things are going to change pretty quickly. So,
but you're saying you'll make rapid progress on the scale,
right,
which won't reflect really in the body composition because you're just really flushing out extra water.
Exactly.
Retention.
That's what I meant to say in a better way of saying it. So let's and the only way to lose fat, let's clarify this in the beginning too, is to create a calorie deficit. Whether that's counting your calories, whether that's going keto, carnivore, cutting off a limb, just kidding, not that, don't do that, is to create a calorie deficit. So let's say that you you start your diet, you create a calorie deficit, you're probably going to be pretty aggressive, somewhere around 500 calories per day, something like that. You're probably going to lose about a pound per week for the first 4 weeks, because you're in a calorie deficit and because you're losing all that water weight. So boom, a month goes by and you've lost 4 pounds and you've got 6 pounds to go towards your 10 pound goal. A more conservative and realistic pace for the rest of those 6 pounds is probably an average of a half a pound per week, because there's going to be days where you eat too much, the dog gets sick, you don't sleep well, you forget to bring your lunch, you forget you have a birthday party to go to, whatever. Half a pound per week is a great progress after that. So what is that? That's 6 pounds. That's another 12 weeks to lose that final 6 pounds at an average of half a pound per week. So we're at week 16 or 4 months to lose this 10 pounds in a realistic way that gives you the best shot of keeping it off. So if we're using that idea that the middle of June is the beginning of summer, you should have started in mid-February a month ago. And I don't say that to be depressing. That's just a realistic way to look at it. Like, I think a lot of people gained, 30, 40, 50 pounds going back to 2020 during COVID. And they're finally at that place now where, like, I've got to lose this weight, and I'm pretty sure I need to lose it in the next 60 days. No, that's been 5 years that you gained this weight over. We need to look at a realistic timeline.
Yeah.
And what if you really do have a significant amount of weight to lose, not 10 pounds, but 30, 40, 50, 60, I would look at doubling the number of pounds you're trying to lose. And that's how many weeks it's probably going to take. So about that average of a half a pound per week, assuming you can stay consistent with it.
Well, so one thing that bothered me, what you said in the beginning, is you were like, whether you're doing keto or whatever, you named a couple things.
Yeah.
But that's not how we coach our clients. So
not.
that's why I was like, I don't want you to confuse people and
Okay,
think like,
good point.
If you need to lose 10 pounds and you come to us for help, we're going to put you on a diet, because that's not what we do with people. We try to teach them how to eat within their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so by trying to lose some weight, like he said, it doesn't need to be 10 pounds. You probably just want to, if this person wants to just like shed some body fat before summertime, how do you do that? You do that by some habit change.
Yes.
You don't snack on chips before dinner. You make better choices when you go to restaurants. You use the rule that we like to say is like, don't go to a restaurant unless you're sitting down across the table from a person. Don't just pick up food. You make more of your own food.
Yeah.
You eat less processed foods. You put less junk in your coffee.
Yeah.
Like these are the ways that you lose weight, and you don't
Without dieting.
Without going on a diet. And when clients come to us for help, we do not put them on a diet. We do not use keto. We do not use all these other things. So.
Yeah, that's a great way. We're still going to achieve the calorie deficit that's required for fat loss, like any diet does, but we're going to do it without dieting. We're going to look at your actual lifestyle and make suggestions for behavior modification that creates the calorie deficit that you can keep up for the long term, make part of your lifestyle, and therefore not worry about losing your results when summer's over.
Because you haven't just like been on a temporary habit change diet that was super strict, and then when you lose those 10 pounds and June 15th hits, you're like, oh, I'm free, and then you'll gain it right back. That's why we go through this method. Same is true for the people you were talking about that need to lose the 40, 50 pounds. It's just a habit change. Habits crept in when we all were like in lockdown and all of this stuff, and now habits just need to creep out.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you for bringing that up. That was a good distinction I glossed over.
All right. I've been coaching a few friends at my house for the last few months, and I think I'd like to start my own online coaching business. Any tips for my first steps? Awesome.
Yeah,
I love
congratulations.
This. Yes.
Your first step should be to go listen to our podcast series, how to take taking your online coaching business from side hustle to serious. I think we had like 6 episodes just on business.
We really did. We kind of went through all of this information in that.
Yeah.
But
I would say in the beginning, stay small as long as you can. Keep your overhead low, do a great job for your clients.
Garage,
yeah, don't start thinking, I need to go rent a space or anything like that, or go invest in $1 million camera for shooting content. Let all that stuff build slowly. Don't go spend a bunch of money.
Yeah. So if you're already coaching people in your garage, it's awesome that you're already getting that experience of seeing how people move and coaching people in person. I think that has to be to me the first step of someone online coaching is to actually see people in real life moving. And then after that, the first things we did when I owned the gym and I was coaching in person, we knew we were going to go online, is we started making video demonstration content. So we would stay after class and video, what is an air squat? What is a push-up? What are the points of performance on a dumbbell row? We were making endless amounts of these videos.
Yeah.
And I think this is the biggest thing. Like, you're going to need this archive of like, how do you do all of these different movements?
Yeah. And like, when you see one of your clients in person have like a fault in their form or whatever, create a piece of content in video that addresses that, so that when you have online clients, you can send it to them and they'll see you as an expert in that, because you have the proof of concept of like knowing how to fix the common faults.
Like dumbbell row is a perfect example. Like you're coaching your clients in your garage or whatever, and you see that every person pulls the dumbbell row right to their armpit. You make a piece of content that shows the difference between this doesn't do anything, this is the motion that we're looking for, pulling more toward the hip. Here's this is versus this. They're going to be like, this guy's the best coach in the world, guy or girl. Like, they know exactly what the problems are. And so, like, that's great. Like, as you're thinking, as you're coaching people in person, make note of what they're doing and how you're correcting them, and make that content. I think that's the best way to start.
And some people might say this is a waste of time, because when you choose a software to coach your clients through, it's probably going to come with access to a bunch of demo videos of somebody else showing how to do these movements. But in our opinion, that's not the way to do it. Number one, like, you don't have any control over those videos. They could go away. They might be really long and long-winded, and your clients aren't going to watch them. And number two, like, you can build a relationship with your clients by them watching videos of you every single day. Like, you're
actually the coach, and you're actually coaching them, even if it's through a video, and they see your face and they hear your voice every day that they're doing their workout. If they're seeing someone else, they just feel like they probably don't even know who their coach is or have a relationship with you. That is true.
And then, like I said, choose a software. You know, you could just email your clients a workout program or send them a link to a Google Doc or something like that. But I think that's outdated. I wouldn't pay a lot for a service that only gave me a spreadsheet or an email. I think having a legitimate software to send your clients their workouts in, see those video demos, a place to record their results that you can easily see, a way for you to see their form check videos, all that kind of stuff. I think that's a non-negotiable for a legitimate online coaching business. So there's a ton of softwares out there. We use True Coach, but like I said, there's other ones out there. So choose which one you want to use.
Yeah.
And then above all else, do a killer job for your in-person clients and your online clients, because the thing that's going to make your online coaching business grow is referrals. I'm not social media, not paid ads. It's going to be you doing an amazing job for your clients, them telling their sister telling their brother-in-law, them telling their friend at work. That's how it's going to spread to like become a sustainable source of income for you. And the only way that happens is if you give those people a reason to talk about you. Like, we love when our clients, like one of my clients sent me a message today that he's in Park City skiing, and he dropped into another gym and like couldn't shut up about digital barbell and like how much of a difference it's made to him over the last couple of years. So that's what you need, is like raving fans that promote you just because they want to and they believe in you. Beyond that,
I was going to say, having a website and email list and stuff like that, but what we didn't say is create a TikTok and an Instagram account to go viral on. That's not the way. That's not the way to start a business. Like, it doesn't matter if you have, you do something crazy on Instagram and you have all these strangers follow you, because they're not going to be the people that are going to buy from you. They're the people that are swiping and liking and never remembering who they put a like on. Right. So I think that's just like a shift. Like, a lot of people think like the first thing I got to do is build up my Instagram. No.
Eventually, I mean, you want to have a presence and
you want to have a presence,
but that's not where to start.
But don't start by saying like, first I got to build up my Instagram.
Right. Yeah. Even though that might be the easiest thing to do in the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Go listen to those episodes. There's tons of good stuff in there.
Now, number 7. Now that you're living in an Airstream, will you join a Globo gym? That's funny. Globo gym.
We've talked about it. Like, we've looked at the different options out there. Anytime Fitness is popular.
What's a Globo gym?
It's one where you work out with globes.
I mean, why is it called Globo Gym?
I don't know.
Globo. I was trying to think of what that word is.
Wasn't that from a dodgeball?
I mean, I don't know if that, like, surely not. It's not what we're not like all calling it Globo Gyms because of that movie.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It just means like a national.
Yeah, I know what it means, but I just think, why do people call it a Globo Gym?
So, like I was saying, we got Anytime Fitness is popular, I think, in a lot of the country. Maybe not so much in New England.
So basically, as of right now, we have not joined a gym. We are like, right in this city, they have a wellness community center in our limited travel so far, what we found is we really like the vibes at those places. So if a city has like a wellness / community center, we want to try to go to those. And then a lot of times, like even RV parks that we stay in have like a pretty decent gym with like dumbbells and some like one machine and some treadmills or something. So that's so far we've been getting by. And then we have equipment in our truck for like if we're at like a state park. We were just at a state park for a week and we have a bench. We have dumbbells that go up to 52 and we have bands. So far we've been getting by, but
yeah, I think long term, we want to do drop-ins to gyms as much as possible.
Yeah.
I think long term, we're probably going to join Anytime Fitness or Planet Fitness, probably.
yeah. There's a weird thing is like Anytime Fitness is mostly in like the smaller towns, which we probably are more likely to be in. Planet Fitnesses seem to be in the bigger cities, which we probably won't be in all the time.
Yeah.
Like the bigger cities, like
The bummer is that Planet Fitness is super cheap.
Yeah.
And Anytime Fitness is not that cheap for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like $60 for the two of us, maybe. Does that sound right?
That's not bad.
So anyway,
We'll see.
that's our plan for that.
All right. 2 more. What is a reverse diet and who is it for?
This sounds like it could be on Seinfeld. What's the deal with a reverse diet? So,
Do a quick answer
okay,
for this.
a reverse diet used to be sold to people kind of as like a marketing thing, like I can make you eat more without gaining weight through my patented reverse diet technology. Sign up for my 12-week program. That's kind of how it used to be sold. Like people who felt like they were under eating and needed to be able to eat more food without gaining weight, they just needed to sign up for a reverse diet, blah, blah, blah. Since that has like been proven as not being an actual thing and really just like a way to trick people, let me explain what it really is. If a diet is a decrease in calories to create a calorie deficit for fat loss, a reverse diet is just the opposite. Coming out of a calorie deficit by eating more food, bringing your calories up to your maintenance calories, meaning just like how much do you need to eat to maintain your weight where it is right now. So if you've gone through a fat loss phase through a diet, you're ready to do a reverse diet, come back to maintenance and maintain your progress at that point. That's as fancy as it needs to be done. Now, one of the ways you can make this work better is to increase your calories from a deficit to maintenance gradually, because you don't know exactly where your maintenance calories are going to be. And you could potentially overshoot them if you're like, I'm pretty sure now I need to eat 1,000 calories a day more during this reverse diet. You overshoot your maintenance calories, you end up in a surplus, you regain weight, which isn't a big deal. You can always lose it again, but it's pretty depressing mentally to come out of a fat loss phase and immediately see yourself regaining weight. So I would recommend that you increase your calories over the course of a month when you're coming out of a diet into your maintenance calories, just so you don't overshoot it. And you might be surprised using that approach that you really do get to eat more than what you might anticipate, because this energy balance equation isn't just like this static thing. A huge part of your calorie burn throughout the day is done subconsciously through your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And as you increase calories, your body will see that extra energy and make you subconsciously just move more, wiggle your feet more, feel more inclined to get up and go for a walk. And all those extra calories that you burn mean that you can eat more without gaining weight. So that's just kind of a tip to think about and go into it with an open mind. That's like, I'm going to experiment to find my new calories during this reverse diet process. Why are you laughing?
I zoned out.
I knew you
Did
weren't
you
listening
answer
because
it?
you were smiling at me.
Did you answer it?
We're done with that one. Any questions? Ask Blakely on that one. She's got your answer covered. I didn't tell you there's going to be a pop quiz after this to see how many of these we were paying attention to.
All right. I
like
hope
your
that
shirt,
was
by the way.
helpful. Whoever asked that one. All right, last question. I like this one. What kind of equipment should I start with if I'm a beginner? Kettlebells, barbells, dumbbells? What do I need to get?
I'll just let you answer this and I'll zone out.
Okay, good. I've changed my mind on this one because our very first pair of adjustable dumbbells I did not like. They were awkward. I didn't like how they felt. And then we upgraded to new adjustable
Now
dumbbells.
we got the Bowflexes.
Bowflex. They go from 5 to 52.5, and up to like 30 they change. Up to 25 they change, like it'll be like 15, 17.5,
Yeah.
20, 22.5, 25. And I like those. So I would say for a beginner, if you have nothing, and it else depends on like, what you want to do and like your budget and all that stuff. But if you really just have nothing and you don't have like a giant, like here's an open garage where I just want to outfit this sucker. Most people don't have that. Where they're just like, I'm going to get every dumbbell size and all that stuff. I would say to start with some adjustable dumbbell set that goes up fairly high, like these that go up to like 52, because this gives you a lot of room to grow into your weights. And then from there graduate to like, okay, now I want the real like hex dumbbells, because I definitely prefer the hex dumbbells. But we were spoiled, and I had a fleet of them because I owned a CrossFit gym, and I just took those from the gym when we had our own home gym. So it's like, if you don't have that access, like the adjustable dumbbells are so great. What I wouldn't want people to do is just to be like, okay, I'll get my pair of 15s or 20s and that's my pair of dumbbells, because that limits you.
Yeah.
So the adjustable dumbbells gives you a great place to start, and then from there you can build into like, I'm ready to move over to barbells and and get a fleet of weight, because you're going to need a lot of plates there.
Yeah.
They mentioned kettlebells. I would say kettlebells are a great conditioning tool, but it's not a must, because you can do a lot of the things you can do with the kettlebell, like pretty much the swing. The swing is the only thing that's specific to the kettlebell. Like I prefer even like a goblet squat with a dumbbell, personally. So a kettlebell would be like last on my list, even though I have a CrossFit background. I love, kettlebell swings are a big part of like CrossFit gyms, but you don't.
They're not cheap either.
They're not
kettlebells.
cheap. Yeah. So you could have one or two of those, but then have your dumbbells, have your bands, and then have a bench, have a box, have a jump rope. These are like kind of the starting pieces of equipment. And then when you're ready to graduate from those adjustable dumbbells, either get some regular hex dumbbells if you want to have more, just like something that's a little easier to use where you don't have to change the weight, and then get some barbells. Yeah.
And I would say, like, if you want to do this, or maybe you're a beginner now, but only because you had a really long layoff and you have a little bit of experience, like, don't wait too long to get into barbells.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can get a decent set of plates and a bar and a squat rack for probably $500 to $700. And if you're going to work out at home, that's a pretty good investment, because you will, on certain exercises, you really will tap out relatively quickly with dumbbells. And there's just certain exercises you don't get the most out of with dumbbells, like dumbbell deadlifts and stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Is like, don't be stubborn on moving up when you're ready. Like if you have the financial means to do so, like once you tap out on the dumbbells you have, and not just the dumbbells you have, but there's only a certain number of like there's a certain weight that you can like squat on a dumbbell comfortably and safely.
Yeah.
Like you can't squat 300 pounds with dumbbells. You can't. You couldn't even get 150 dumbbells on each shoulder. Yeah. So Jonathan, like a squat for him with a dumbbell, he's going to have to do light weights, very high reps, not really get that much out of it.
That's exactly the situation that we're in right now with the travel. Is like our dumbbells go up to 52.5, and I can get those up to my shoulders to do dumbbell front squats,
but it's holding not a heavy load.
But that's not a heavy. So
same thing with a deadlift. Like your RDLs, like you at home, you'd use like the 75s for dumbbell RDLs and barbells.
So like when we have the occasion to go to these gyms, like in this town, like you better believe I'm going to be deadlifting a heavy barbell. I'm going to be squatting a heavy weight too, because there's only so much you can do with dumbbells.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you know that you're going to be into this, and especially if you have a coach that can help you with the technique, make sure you're doing it right. Don't be afraid to start with barbells too. That's completely safe.
Oh, yes.
Like, you can get strong quickly and very safely with with barbells, but you're probably going to need some dumbbells also.
Yes.
So, okay, we answered those Q's. I hope you guys enjoyed the A's. If you want to get a question in the queue for a podcast, just send us a message on Instagram or leave a comment down below if you're watching this on the YouTubes. If you don't already subscribe to us on YouTube, you mostly listen to this podcast, go check it out. It's just youtube.com/digitalbarbell.
Just us sitting here.
Just us sitting here in the camper. But if you want to see more like the behind the scenes stuff, we have committed to doing more of like our day-to-day life videos and more Airstream specific content. So if you have any interest in that also, it's going to be over on the YouTube channel. All right.
Today's not much of a big reveal. There's just a fence behind us.
Yeah, nothing to see from this view.
There's some goats back there.
Hopefully a better view at the next place. And the next spot we're staying when we come back here is going to have a better view we're showing you too. So stick around for that. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll check you next week.